All right, welcome to another Creative Spin podcast. I'm trying to
Why
create
are
a
you singing?
because I'm trying to create a jingle. I think I have what it takes.
Try again.
No?
No,
Stick to
try
the-
again, I said.
No, I'm not gonna do it. Honestly, I think once is enough. I don't want to hurt anybody's eardrums with my singing because I haven't practiced. It's not because I can't sing.
Okay, said try again.
So this is a place where Creative Spin Podcast. This is where we have creative conversations with creative people, and I have a creative person right in front of me. She's Anna, the creative.
I'm creative. Thank you.
You're a creative writer, so then
I
again,
try.
right? So that's it. The bottom line for this podcast, if you're listening to us for the first time, is we try to keep things creatively interesting. We speak to business people when they want to talk to us, or artists, and anybody that has. Oh, that was my alarm.
Yeah.
And things. Why is this going again? So this shouldn't be happening. This is what happens in this podcast. We need to get creative, so we put an alarm clock on. So like I was saying, we talk to business people, we talk to artists, we talk to anybody that we feel can bring in some creative environment or topics. You're just nodding. You're just not saying anything today. You're just there.
I just like the way you're going with this.
Yeah, it's like, do you want an autograph after this?
I know,
God, Jesus Christ. Anyways, my co-host and partner in crime and apparently fan is Anna, and she's right across from me, trying to. I don't know what she's trying to do. Anyways, but today's episode is a nice one.
Yes, it
We'll
is.
be talking about marketing, but with a viral twist, and
You're giving it a spin, a creative spin to it.
with a viral spin and a twist of coffee. Yeah, this one's gonna be good. Yeah, if you haven't guessed it, we'll be talking about the Game of Thrones coffee fiasco.
And how that ties up with.
Marketing,
There you go.
100%. So let's hit that intro. But before we go ahead with the coffee situation and the marketing geniuses behind, no, there was no genius. It just happened. We'll talk about that in a second. We just have to mention our sponsor. So today's podcast sponsor is, but of course, Workplace One, company offering boutique private offices, working spaces, co-working spaces, I might say, virtual office solutions, and meeting rooms, just like the one we are sitting in today. If you're not watching us, well, that's a good excuse for you guys to jump onto our YouTube page and check us out. We're currently at the Bloor and Bay office. It's at 77. Is it Bloor or 77? I should have read the instructions.
It's the Yorkville one, right?
It's the Yorkville one. It's a perfect opportunity for you guys to also jump on to workplace1.com and find out the actual address that I should have known. But this is awesome. They have about 5 offices here in Toronto, in some of the coolest places. They also have another location in Kitchener, and basically, if you're in business, they offer the best solutions for that. So check them out. They're our sponsor. So drop a line.
Yep.
Comment.
And for me, I love Yorkville. So
This area here is nice. I think my credit card is not going to like what's going to happen to it after we leave this place because, passing by in front of all of these nice stores.
It's a beautiful area. But check it out.
Well, check it out. Now, let's get into the Game of Thrones coffee situation. I think when I heard about this and I started reading about all these crazy numbers that people were throwing out there and the value of what one coffee left by mistake on one scene, that was 2 seconds? Was it even 2 seconds?
I don't know. I don't know.
But the value of that little thing,
which is not even a coffee cup from where they claim to be from.
that's the other part. So if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard yet, there was and I'm putting air quotes, if you're just listening to us so that you understand why I'm going to say this, a Starbucks cup. And why the air quotes? Because we now found out that it's not a Starbucks cup.
No, it's
So,
from a local
This is genius.
pub.
This is like, if you want to get luckier than this, I mean, if Starbucks wanted to, I don't think they could have
Yeah.
done it so perfectly. And this is, it goes back to what I was saying in regards to going viral on any type of campaign that you do. You just never know. The ultimate goal is to have a viral marketing campaign, because look
And,
at what
and
just happened.
it's almost frustrating for people that work on this, and and
They're
they
like,
spend
"Why
hours
didn't I
and
think about
hours and
that?"
hours studying campaigns that work really well, but all of a sudden you have this one that out of the blue, as Bob Ross would say, it's a happy accident, right?
It was a happy accident.
You have this happy accident happening, and boom,
With millions of dollars spent in this TV show, it's a global TV show. It's in about 170 countries around the world. Huge budgets going around. Ton of people. I'm sure that there's at least 20 people on set that are doing nothing, that are not needed. They're just there because they want to be a part of the whole thing. And nobody catches this. Like, this is insane. Nobody saw a coffee cup.
True.
How did they miss it? I mean, it can happen because they probably had the whole set done and they told the actors, okay, now you guys sit down. And the actor or actress, she just brought in the coffee cup and boom, she planted it there.
It is in front of Emilia, right? Daenerys. And
Yeah.
she said, she's actually spoken after this, and she said it had nothing to do with me. So
who was it?
who was it?
Probably even somebody putting the set together
Right.
actually had one of those cups
And left it there.
and just
So
left it there by mistake. It happens. I mean, it is what it is.
will we ever find that out? That's the
Let's
interesting
go
part.
back to the facts here. Is okay. Like I said, Game of Thrones, 170 countries across the world. Starbucks is a huge brand. We all know it.
For sure.
Like their coffee or not, and I know that you don't.
I don't.
You
no.
don't like their coffee. I can tolerate some of their coffees. I'm gonna be honest; it's not my favorite brand either of coffee. But let's move aside from the taste of the coffee and let's look at the branding of Starbucks and their whole marketing campaigns and how they've structured themselves. And you have to give that to them. They know what they're doing. They're one of the strongest brands in the world. Now, why is it that when we saw a coffee cup with a white lid,
it, right?
a white lid, automatically people said it was a Starbucks
And
cup.
it had a sleeve.
Exactly.
Right?
But that I think actually helped the case because having a sleeve, people automatically said that's a white lid, that's Starbucks. And that's powerful. When you're able to brand your product in such a way, in such a strong way, that whenever people look at a white lid on a coffee cup, automatically it's associated to Starbucks, man, you've done something right. It's not a Starbucks cup. We've now figured it out. It's not. It's actually from a local coffee shop in Banbridge, Northern Ireland. It might have not even been coffee. It might have been tea. But yet, people are throwing crazy numbers like $2.3 billion of value in terms of marketing.
And so comes...
And obviously, this is a very broad estimate, but...
Yeah, and that was my reaction. How did they come up with this number, right? Like, how can you figure this out? That was my first reaction when I saw that.
Well, you were just researching a couple of numbers, and you brought, in the first 24 hours... apparently based from a website, the Hollywood branded website, they state that it was the name Starbucks or Game of Thrones or a combination of the two was thrown around on TV shows and radio shows around the world just on the first 24 hours. Very close to 11,000 times.
That's crazy.
One of the lines that I liked on one of the articles is that they said that this, for Starbucks, is a gift that will keep on giving. And it's so true because I've seen so many memes, so many GIFs.
True.
And these things are going to be just floating around. And I'm sure that, creative people out there. They're going to keep on, coming up with a new meme or a new drawing or a new picture. I think it's gonna keep on giving. No, spinning it away from just the Game of Thrones situation. When I'm speaking to my clients and I talk to them about marketing as a whole, this is one of the things that I keep on telling them. Like, don't think that people aren't noticing. Like, if you have a store, let's say as an example, where you have people walking in every day, don't take that for granted. Make sure that it's appealing, make sure that you have the right messages going across, make sure that everything is consistent with your brand.
Use your uniqueness. I always
use that uniqueness, and make sure that the message, I always say the message has to be clear, right? Because look, little details, they make a difference, right? If you think, oh, you know what, I have X amount of clientele, I've been open for 20 years, people like our products and our brand. Yeah, but competition is out there.
I was going to say until
well.
the next guy, the guy next door shows up, and then there
100%.
you go, right?
I mean, the new kid on the block might be the guy with the new ideas and starts marketing himself a little bit different. And then, you know what?
There goes
clients,
your clientele.
Yeah, your clients can be faithful to you until a certain point. But, when the new kid in the block comes in with good marketing, good prices, good products, people will start looking and getting curious about that and questioning and passing by.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that those clients that you thought that were faithful to your company, your brand, your products, they're, I think overall people are faithful to what's good for them. And it is kind of like a selfish thing to say, but human beings are that way, right?
And you're paying for it. So you're going to pay for something you like. Right?
There's a lot of value with how you interact with your clients. I still think like I still have that hope that still weighs a little bit, because sometimes when you walk into a place and it's just cold and you walk in there, not in the sense of AC, but I'm saying in the sense of service.
AC sometimes will do that as well.
But you're walking in, you don't have anybody greeting you, you don't have people taking care of you properly, explaining the products, going that extra mile, and you're just walking in just for the value money wise. Like, I'm buying this bottle of water, it's going to cost me 10 cents less, so I'm just going to start going to that store. But if you have a relationship with somebody that takes care of you,
around,
that knows you for a while, that even though that same product is going to be 10 cents more expensive in that place, you'll actually go, you know what, but Joe or Jack, whatever, he's a nice guy, and every time I go there, he asks me about my kids, how I'm doing,
and they remember what you like.
That becomes then that little bit of the factor that will keep the clients there. If you're paying so much attention to everything in the store and in what I'm going to feel when I walk into your place, I know that you're going to be taking care of your products as well, because you want me to be happy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that is what's going to bring me back. Everybody has a bad moment.
We all make
mistakes. And you cannot judge a company by the actions of an employee, and you can't judge a company by that one particular situation.
Exactly.
You need to see the things in a global scale. Because, going online and saying bad things about a company right away because you had one bad answer from one of the employees, or you had a bad whatever it was, that's kind of bad, because
it's not
I'm
fair.
the type of person, it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Because I'm the type of person, let's say as an example, when I go on holidays, I like to read the reviews, see what the hotel the hotel reviews and what people thought about it. Or when I go to a restaurant, I go check the reviews. Now, think about it this way. You went and right away online and you said, oh, I went to eat at this restaurant and the food was terrible. Hold on. You had, how many plates did you have when you went? Because I'm pretty sure that
You order one thing.
you ordered one thing to
Yeah.
eat, and that restaurant has a whole menu, right?
Mhm.
I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of times, you start getting into issues like the ones we're talking about because there's a lack of communication
Yeah.
between the top people and everybody else, and that needs to be fixed right from the get-go. You start getting complaints, you start fixing that from the
Mhm.
top, not from the bottom, right? And again, to companies out there that are always on the defensive, don't get defensive. Get communicating with
Proactive. Do
proactive.
something
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get proactively out of here and get the heck out, because we need to go shopping.
What a coffee cup does, eh?
What a coffee cup does, yeah. I think this is an interesting spin to. This was a creative spin to this whole conversation. I think it was fun. We're going to. I'm not. I was gonna say stuff
What?
that was gonna happen. I'm not saying anything because I have a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do for this podcast and
I see.
videos and things, and I was
So
gonna
keep
start
it as a surprise.
talking and I was gonna blow up all the surprise.
No
I'm not gonna do that.
spoilers.
No spoilers.
No
This is
spoilers.
like the Avengers.
There you go. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who dies at the end.
Was there a coffee cup on that one?
I don't know, probably. Anywho's, thank you for listening to another Creative Spin podcast. We'll be here next week with another creative whatevers that we'll find, and we'll try to have as much fun. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Always a
No,
pleasure.
thank you. No, thank you, Colin. Thank you. No, there's nobody else here. All right, guys. Bye. Later. You can cut this whenever you want. It's literally, we're done.